What's going on, America? This is Kevin at Kevin's Corner, and I have a question. How come America has to be dumb for nothing? I mean, you ever seen somebody who's worthless? They got all the talent, all the skills, but they don't use them. It's like a big guy who doesn't play football. He's big for nothing. It's like a tall guy who won't play any basketball. You're tall for nothing. It's like a student that's smart and go to school, but get all F's. They're smart for nothing. And America has all of the resources, all of the talent, all of the knowledge, but we are dumb for nothing. Meaning, we just had a terrorist attack in New York. And first of all, that guy blew himself up for nothing. That's hilarious, you know. So that's funny. You blew up for nothing. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that you still have people on the left that are arguing against addressing the immigration reform policies, addressing chain migration policies. I mean, why are we so dumb? Look, this isn't back in the day when we were all immigrants coming over here from other countries trying to fill up the landscape and grow and build our economy. At this point, we have populated America, okay? It's kind of like, biblical times. After Noah's Ark, they needed to replenish the earth, people. But after they start getting replenished, the rules changed, okay? All right? So my point that I'm trying to make is we have populated America. And not only has that happened, but at the same time, we're at war with terrorism. Now, not Islam, but with terrorism. Radical Islamic terrorism. That means that you have to adjust to the situation. And I'm convinced when Donald Trump was saying that our leaders are dumb, there's some merit to that. I'm going, how dumb can you be to say, you know what, let's continue business as usual and just wish for the best and hope that everybody who comes in here means us well, because we don't want to look bad in front of the rest of the world and make them think that we hate all Muslims by doing smart stuff to keep Americans safe. That's the only reason. So I'm going, why aren't we smart enough to go for me to say, let's let one person come into America, not just bring their husband and kids that are under 18, but just a whole family tree. Why are we the only country that does this stupid stuff? I just don't understand that. And then you have politicians who make these decisions for the rest of us, which blows my mind. I didn't get a vote. Did you? I mean, I'm going, nobody asked me, hey, Kev, how do you feel about chain migration? Should you vote for it or against it? Nobody did that. And for them to make these decisions that affect Americans, it's all good if your kid or loved one wasn't in the subway when this guy tried to blow himself up. So it's easy to make these type of laws when you don't feel you may be affected. So they just make them and don't regard how it can impact the rest of our society and other Americans except themselves. They're like, don't bother me. I don't care. So I'm going, why are you doing dumb stuff and not realizing that we have to adapt to the times, we have to adapt to the situation. And this is why our enemies take advantage of that. They take advantage of our political correctness. They sit and I'm thinking if I was anti-American, say I lived over in some other country that wanted to get into America, I would use every one of these political agendas that try to make us seem like we are so tolerant, try to make us seem like we are so receptive to everybody. I would use that to my advantage. I would come over here and say, what, I can't get in because I'm black? And they'd go, no. Come on in. Yeah, I'd get in there and I would do whatever I wanted to do. Other countries, smart countries, don't do this stuff. And I'm going, why is America the only ones that can't see the situation and say, whoa, we got to tweak it. We can't allow it to operate like it used to. And then when they pollute the minds of a large part of our population to believe that these smart decisions are motivated by hate or racism. And I'm going, how could you be so naive to be manipulated by politicians who try to pollute your mind with this when you wouldn't even let stuff like this happen in your own house? I mean, you mean to tell me any of y'all sitting out there right now who might say, you know what, Donald Trump, he just wants to change the immigration policies because he hates foreigners. And this stuff should be applied to every race outside of America that's coming in here. There has to be something done with the immigration policies. It has nothing to do with whether they're coming from Ireland, Italy, France, England. You can't just come here and bring your whole crew. I can't move to some other country and say, hey, mom, pop, distant cousin, second niece. He ain't my real cousin, but, you know, we like cousins, though, because I grew up with him. You come on, too. It doesn't work like that. And so in your own house, if you say, you know what, man, I hear you fell on bad luck. You can move on in with me. I'll house you, okay? That guy comes in. You go to work. You come home, and the rest of his family is posted up in your house. What would you do? Would you say, oh, you know, it's okay. I'm sure we can work it out somehow. We create some space, maybe pull out the couch. You got to pull out couch, blow up one of them little air mattresses. Come on, man. You would go, look, too many people in the house, is crowded, and I don't know your family. I don't know them, man. I mean, I might leave, come back, and ain't no Kool-Aid in the fridge. I might leave, come back, somebody's sleeping in my bedroom. I don't know what their intentions are. You know, the TV might just grow legs and walk on out the house. So what I'm saying is, for America to not think on a micro level, individualize it, voters, individualize it, congressmen, and supposed to be smart leaders of America. If you would not do this individually in your own house, why would you do it for the rest of just a picture? America is a big house, okay? A big house. And all of us in here is your family, okay? Your job is to protect all of us. So when you're doing dumb stuff to look good in the eyes of the world by making us vulnerable, you're not being a good overseer. You're being reckless. You are being selfish. You're being motivated by whatever political agenda you have in your mind, but not regarding Americans. You're being dumb for nothing. Dumb for nothing. So if they don't do something about this immigration, chain migration issue, it's going to affect us. It's going to come back to bite us worse than what took place the last couple of days, a couple of weeks ago. You know, it's just a matter of time before our enemies say they're weak because they refuse to do what it takes to keep the people safe because of political correctness. And it just drives me absolutely nuts. So when Donald Trump said that our leaders are dumb, there's some truth to that. And they being dumb for nothing because in their mind, they know this stuff is dumb. I really want to get to the bottom of why they are making these dumb decisions. It gotta be. It can't be just because they're that dumb. It just cannot be. It has to be a bigger agenda underneath it all. Because if they that dumb, they should have never got voted in. I'm just keeping it real. Now, I made a video also dealing with Donald Trump and all of these newfound accusations that just popped up out of nowhere. Well, no, they're not newfound. These were allegations that were thrown out about Donald Trump and sexual assault or whatever during the election. And the American people spoke. They made a decision. Either they didn't care about that stuff or they didn't believe it. One of the two. The man's in office and them funky Dems now trying to drum up this sexual assault stuff again because you know what they're doing. They're weaponizing it. They put this thing in motion several weeks or months ago when all of the accusations start coming out and they were demanding that all these other people step down. And now they're just leading us all the way up trying to get Donald Trump again. But here's what makes me mad about that. And I didn't put this in the video. I wanted to say it, so I'm going to put it in now for those that are watching. This is how you know that the claims about Donald Trump was garbage. And also about Roy Moore. Okay? you look at timing and you look at motive. Just do some logical investigative work here. Just use your brain for a second. Think this out. What do the women who accuse Donald Trump want that they couldn't have got prior to him running for president? I mean, think about this. In fact, it can be argued that Donald Trump was more valuable, more powerful prior to becoming president than he is now. What is the only difference? The Democrats are involved. All of these accusations only surfaced when the Democrats, the dirty Dems, got involved. That is the missing ingredient. So now, when you use some deductive reasoning, if it was simply about taking down a powerful man, if it was about showing that you cannot abuse your power, your position, as whatever, they would have came out prior. They probably could have got money off this before he became president. They probably could have got some buyout. They probably could have got a book deal. All of this stuff could have come out with even greater potential results if that's what their motive was before he became president. But I find it ironic that as soon as he runs for office, now all of these emotions are drummed up. They weren't drummed up when he was just Donald Trump, the billionaire, on TV constantly, worth billions of dollars, popular. They could have sued him then. They could have went after his throat, just tore him. He'd have got, his show would have got collapsed. His money tapped out. He'd have to start paying out all these accusation people. All of that stuff, they could have got him. They could even potentially went after him and put him in jail. I find it funny that they only decided, let me come after him when he ran for office against the funky, crooked Democrats. So that's the missing element, y'all. It's soon as it's like creating a bomb, and it's just one element that you need to make it work. And so what happened is you stick the dirty Dems in, and boom, now it blows up. These people, if Donald Trump wouldn't have ran for office against the funky Dems, you would have never heard from these people. Ever. Okay? So that's the logic you have to use when you see all this stuff happening. Who is behind motivating them to now raise their hand and say, teacher, I got something to say. I got something to tell you, teacher. Him tried to touch me, teacher. Yeah. What's behind that? Is somebody behind them tapping them going, you know what you should do? You should tell the teacher that he tried to touch you. That's what it is. It's the dirty Dems behind it. Same thing with Roy Moore. I'm going, okay, so y'all saw him running against the other Republican candidate, and y'all waited to see the outcome of this, okay? Soon as he won that, they're like, oh, man, okay, we weren't expecting that. Luther Strange took one to the chin. So now how can we adjust? How can we deal with this? They waited until he won that, and they waited until they could not take his name off the ballot. They tried to double trap him, and then they throw all these accusations out. Whereas I'm going, you know what? They knew about this. If this is true, they knew about, these women knew these things prior to him becoming the candidate for the United States Senate. They knew that. And they could have stuck it to him so he would have never been on the ballot. They could have got all this information out there when he was running against Luther, but they didn't for some reason. Deductive reasoning, people. And see what society, and when I told y'all that they were going to weaponize sexual assault, you know what sexual assault does as a weapon? It double traps people. Now, what do I mean? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Sexual assault is one of those accusations that our society has almost made it impossible to question the accuser. Because then as soon as you go, man, I don't believe it. What? You don't automatically believe. You know what you are? You're a sexist. You know what? You know what? You're shaming the victim. You're not giving her a platform to speak. Yes. So now, because everybody's tiptoeing around the issue, and because nobody is willing to call out any of the women who make these accusations and say, prove it. You're telling me, see, it would be one thing if you say, yesterday, when I was at the mall, President Trump walked through and squeezed my butt, and it's on camera. Or my girl was with me and saw him go honk, and he looked at me and laughed. When you can do that, okay. But if you say, back in 74, I was sitting on an airplane and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, President Trump just started kissing all over me. And I'm going, 74? But yet y'all won't march the guy out sitting across from you to say none of that happened. Y'all won't throw him on TV and parade him around to say, oh, man, I'm debunking that because it never happened. The way I saw it, she was all over him. They won't throw those things out. And so we are supposed to not question these things. 38 years ago, these women said that about Roy Moore. And this man's been in public office for all these years. People interacting with him. Since he's been married, you ain't never heard. His wife don't complain. She ain't never said, yeah, Roy he's a midnight rouser. He's all out all night at the clubs and, nothing. The man's been a model servant. And now all of a sudden, he's a sexual predator. And it's funny how they slide in not the accusation when they're on TV debating this. They make statements like it is. I was watching some Pop-Tart that they put on there to validate why people shouldn't vote for Roy Moore. And this guy was on there like, the Republicans are about to put what do they call him? A sexual offender or a child molester in office. And they had to correct them and say, accused. Okay. So y'all throw that stuff out there and don't think the smart people catch it. That is a way of programming people. Not saying he's accused. It's I'm going to accuse him through subliminal messaging. I'm going to say, not accused child molester or whatever, or predator. I'm always going to refer to him as a predator. And so, if y'all can't see the game, wake up and see it. They're now weaponizing this stuff, and it does such a disservice to people who really suffer from real stuff like that. And it's hard to believe any of these cases when behind it, you got the puppet masters, the funky, dirty Dems. The funky, dirty Dems that's running the show. It's hard to believe any of that. So shame on the Democrats. Don't get mad when Donald Trump lays out a couple of the people that's accusing him and gives the boxing gloves to all of these people via Twitter who's saying, you need to step down. And when he fires back into them, all of a sudden, oh, you can't talk to women like that. You know how mad I would be if somebody accused me of sexual assault and I didn't do it. And yet the public is going, well, I don't want no proof. I'm just going to assume this woman is telling the truth. I would be furious, and I would have no mercy on the people running around saying, this man needs to step down. He needs to. I'd be like, who are you to decide what I need to do? And you weren't there. And it's funny because most of these cases, it's nobody was around, no witnesses, nothing, just my word against yours. And it happened 1 million years ago. So you can't really prove it. No evidence whatsoever. This is nothing but garbage and an attempt to get the president out of there. And smart people see through it. Okay, it's going to backfire again on him. And in 2020, when he gets reelected, everybody's going to be falling out, whining and going crazy and kicking their feet and saying it's not fair. And all of you that voted him in, you hate women. We don't hate women. I'll tell you what, though, I do very, very strongly dislike the Democratic Party. I really do. Because this election has shown us how corrupt they are. And frankly, a lot of Republicans are funky too. Okay? Because they're just as corrupt as the Democrats when they coincide with them to get rid of the president. And I think some of those politicians know who they are. Moles inside of the Republican Party. Anyway, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so upset about this today. I was watching TV and I got emotional sometime when it's just crazy how much they hate the president. They like a dog on a leash. All the ways. You're like, oh, wait, no, let him, boy. And the press and the Dems, they want him bad. They want a shot at the title so bad. Anyway, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. If you like what you heard, hit like, share the video. There are links in the bottom to my other social media outlets and networks and all that good stuff. And I also have some links in the bottom that if you want to donate to Kevin's Corner, feel free. I would definitely appreciate it. God bless you. We see you next time in Kevin's Corner.